Okay, this is a reaction video from Lost in the Pond. I did it. I went to an American drive-in theater. Now, I've been to a drive-in theater one time in my life. When I was growing up, drive-in theaters were all over the place, and you put your family in the car as you drive. You pay to get in. I don't know how much it is per car, whatever it was. And most theaters I went to, you had a screen in front of you. There was another movie playing behind you. You could look and see what was going on there. You would be able to hear it, and then you could turn on the device that was next to the car, and you'd be able to hear what was going on. A lot of us, when we went there, we didn't sit in the car because you could sit in the car, you can go get popcorn, stuff like that. We were all got up on the hood of the car and leaned up against the windshield and watched it that way. But let's see what Lawrence has up to. This is Lost in the Pond. I did it. I went to an American drive-in theater. Please click like, share, and subscribe for him, and please click like, share, and subscribe for me as well. I think they still have drive-in theaters, but not very many.
Hello, I'm Lawrence, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to drive-in movie theatres. As someone who's lived in the United States for about 13 years and has seen countless films in that time, I was stunned to discover while looking back through my yearly diaries that I don't actually keep, that I hadn't yet partaken in what was formerly a popular pastime here in the United States. And I suspect that Lawrence from 14 years ago would have been surprised to hear this, given that I probably believed that going to the drive-in movie theatre was all Americans did. I was young, I was naive, and I needed the money. I've just realised that was about something else. But
not a lot of people. Like I said, I only went to the drive-in theater one time in my life, yeah, but I do know it was something that a lot of people did do back in the day.
In some respects, it's probably no wonder that I was given this impression. You see, ironically, I became aware of this phenomenon of drive-in movie theatres via American movies, with drive-ins depicted in some of America's best films and also Twister. I did not encounter them in Britain. But, like a mad scientist using a teleportation device, I'm getting ahead of myself. Before I go any further, what are drive-in movie theatres? Well, in the simplest of terms, they are outdoor cinemas that you can watch from the comfort or...
Yeah, it's like I described earlier. You drive your car, you pay to get in, and those things right there that you're looking at, that's the listening devices that you turn that on. You park next to that, and you can hear what's going on the screen. You just watch the movie that way.
Discomfort of your car. And for a while there, they were a huge deal in the United States of America. In fact, surprisingly, the origins of the drive-in movie theatre go back over 100 years. In 1915, a partial drive-in theatre known as Theatre de Guadalupe was opened in New Mexico, showed silent movies for a year, and then closed. And it wasn't until the 1930s and the end of the silent era that the first patented drive-in movie theatre opened in New Jersey. And this Depression-era craze swept across the land, and drive-in theatres were opening everywhere. And after World War II, it all went from strength to strength as both the population and car ownership skyrocketed.
Hi, you hungry? Looking for a tempting treat? Hold on till I absorb some heat. Some added tang might please you too. I'll slide into an oven-fresh bun, and I'm ready for your eating fun.
Why don't you try a juicy good hot dog? Mmm, delicious.
And drive-ins were particularly popular in rural areas, and there's a couple of reasons for this, and none of...
And yeah, that is true. And I mean, they still kind of have something similar. They have outdoor, not drive-ins, but those people will set up an outdoor like cinema experience, so you can watch it under the stars if you'd like. And I was on a cruise ship, and about 5 years ago, you could watch movies under the stars somewhere like that, like a drive-in. But this is what he's talking about was with the car. It's a little bit different.
None of them have to do with cows. Firstly, it's quiet in the countryside. Out there are no sports cars honking their horns at all hours of the day because a cyclist just looked at them funny. Out there, with the exception of the occasional crop duster and horses clicking their hooves, you could just hear the sound of the film that much better, if the audio equipment worked. I am unreasonably excited by the fact that they have little speakers outside of the car and you hook them on to the window frame. Another reason, of course, that drive-in movie theatres are more suited to rural areas is the relative lack of artificial light in the surrounding area. You see, for the projection to work in any meaningful way, it has to be nighttime, otherwise you can't see what the heck is on the screen. Anyway, between the 1970s and 1990s, drive-in movie theatres in the United States started to see a decline. And there wasn't just one singular reason for this, but a whole host of them.
I would imagine a lot of it had to do with cable television, HBO, something like that, video cassettes, and nowadays we have even DVDs and Blu-rays and 4K is kind of going away. I don't want to say it's going away, maybe it's still there, but now everybody's streaming.
From the expansion of home entertainment to the imposition of daylight savings time, meaning that films had to start an hour later, which is an absolute...
Yeah, if daylight saving, if you push your clock back an hour in the wintertime, then it gets dark around 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening around where I'm at. But during the summertime, which is where I'm at right now, it doesn't start getting dark till around 8:30 or whenever, 7:30, 8 o'clock around there. We're actually probably closer to 8, and so you can't really start the movie till about 9:30.
Absolute crisis if you're watching Gone with the Wind. And furthermore, real estate interest rate hikes of the 70s and 80s led to substantial increases in the cost of the land, meaning that drive-in theatres were becoming less and less viable. And as time wore on, many of these old drive-in theatres were repurposed as flea markets, which I can confirm are not markets that sell fleas. However, a handful...
I actually enjoy flea markets. They're very nice. You can get a lot of antiques at a flea market.
Of them did remain open, and to this day there are approximately 330 drive-in theatres in America. And one of those is the Route 34 drive-in in Earlville, Illinois.
Hey, are you excited?
Yeah, I am, despite my face, because I'm about to get a really authentic 1975 experience. Not only are we at the drive-in theatre, but we're going to watch Jaws, admittedly from a Prius.
Nothing wrong with that.
Once
Ain't nothing wrong with watching Jaws at a drive-in theater. I'd like to do that.
we'd set up the speaker and we witnessed Chrissy Watkins getting mauled, we didn't have many sound issues, except I couldn't understand half the words of Mr. Quint, which is consistent with every viewing I've ever had of Jaws. And this was good because it meant we could stick with the old school speakers instead of trying out this modern Bluetooth.
And the interesting thing, I know something about the movie Jaws. The woman who played the mother, whose son, the Kittner boy, who gets killed, the one who smacked Roy Scheider in the face, she went to a restaurant and it had I think his name was Billy Kittner, some kind of sandwich, a play on the words, and she recognized that, and she said, "Hey, I played the mother in the movie of the mother of the boy who was killed." And it turned out that the kid who was the boy who got eaten by the shark was the owner of that restaurant, and he put it up there, and so they were actually reunited there. But as it turns out, if you watch the movie, he didn't really die. He's perfectly fine, and I believe she recently passed away. The mom who played the woman who played the mom recently passed away, but the boy I probably think is still alive today.
Tooth malarkey. Anyway, Jaws is still great, even if I continue to root for the shark. Now, back in the
You bastard, rooting for that damn shark.
day when I dreamed about going to one of these drive-in theatres, I always assumed I'd turn up in a Cadillac convertible like Elvis. And so because we sat through a 2-hour film inside an enclosed car, it did get a little bit stuffy. And so
And like I said, I didn't do that. One time I went to a drive-thru, we all got up on the hood of the car and leaned up against the windshield and watched it that way.
we made the decision, a decision that everybody else had made before Jaws, to watch the second film, Jurassic World, outside of the vehicle. And partly because of the resulting mosquitoes, I did root for the dinosaurs. In all, I actually really enjoyed the entire experience.
She made me do this.
And if I could bring back drive-in theatres en masse using my YouTube sensation powers, I would
Well, it's nice to see your wife had some dancing moves.
do it in a heartbeat. Actually, there is one other thing that's partially renewed interest in them: the pandemic. Not only are they easier to find in the United States if you know where to look, but in 2020, even in Britain, the country went from 3 drive-in theatres to 40. Yay for the pandemic. That's it for this episode. Let me know in the comments below if you've been to a drive-in theatre recently or did so in your past. I'm Lawrence Brown. You can follow me on Twitter at LostInThePondUS, and be sure to subscribe to my channel so that my videos don't get lost in the pond. And a cinema screen size shout out to my patrons who make these videos possible.
Yeah, please click like, share, and subscribe for Lawrence. He does a great job. I do some of his videos, and I enjoy doing them. And yeah, like I said, I've been to a drive-in theater, and I'm trying to remember what all this time. What was the movie that I saw? I do remember the movie going behind me was An Innocent Man. It was a Tom Selleck movie where he goes to prison. He's a wrongly convicted person that goes to jail. Aren't they all? I'm trying. What was the movie? Yeah, it doesn't. Maybe. Who cares? But I know I've been to a drive-in theater once. It is an experience. It is something that I would recommend doing once in your life, if for no reason, just to say you did it. But as far as Lawrence, please click like, share, and subscribe for him. Please click like, share, and subscribe for me. I would appreciate it. And you have a good rest of your day. And thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Bye.